From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Wednesday, October the 28th, 2020. Israel and the United States signed an agreement today extending the scientific cooperation between the countries to include Judea, Samaria, also known as the West Bank, and the Golan Heights. The original agreements that date back to the 1970s had stated that cooperative projects may not be conducted in geographical areas which came under the administration of the State of Israel after June the 5th of 1967. But the protocol signed today by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and U.S. Ambassador to Israel David Friedman at Ariel University, which is in the West Bank or Samaria, removes that restriction, opening the areas, Netanyahu said, to academic, commercial, and scientific engagement with the U.S. The Prime Minister said this is an important victory against all those who seek to delegitimize everything Israeli beyond the 1967 lines. And to those malevolent boycotters, I have a simple message for you today, he said. You are wrong and you will fail. You are wrong because you deny what cannot be denied, the millennial connection between the people of Israel and the land of Israel. It's over 3,000 years old. U.S. Secretary of Defense Mark Esper will reportedly be arriving in Israel tomorrow to meet with his Israeli counterpart, Benny Gantz. This, according to digital magazine Breaking Defense, following Gantz's meeting Esper at the Pentagon last week to discuss the U.S. selling F-35 jets to the United Arab Emirates and maintaining Israel's military edge. Breaking Defense said that to this end, and at Gantz's urging, the U.S. will allow Israel direct access to highly classified satellites. The Czech Chamber of Deputies overwhelmingly passed a resolution last night urging the government of the Czech Republic and the European Union to declare all of Hezbollah a terrorist organization. As we have been reporting to you, the number of countries making the declaration is growing, though the EU continues to make the distinction between the Iranian-backed, Lebanese-based terror group's military and so-called political wing, which in turn enables Hezbollah to conduct terror activity in many countries across Europe. In the resolution passed today, the Czech Parliament noted the American Jewish Committee's transatlantic declaration, rejecting Europe's fictional distinction between Hezbollah's so-called military and political arms, which was released on July the 17th of this year, on the eve of the anniversaries of Hezbollah's deadly bomb attacks on the AMIA Jewish Center in Argentina in 1994 and on a bus of Israeli tourists in Bulgaria in 2012. The AJC tweeted of the news from the Czech Parliament today, "We applaud the historic move and hope others will follow suit." And just across Israel's border with Lebanon, the two countries began a second round of talks today regarding their disputed maritime border, which includes issues of natural resources and offshore energy exploration. The talks were held at the headquarters of the UN peacekeeping force UNIFIL in the Lebanese border town of Nakura. They were mediated by the United Nations and the United States. Reports emerging from the meetings today range from them being serious to very heated, with the Lebanese delegation apparently pushing for an additional 550 square miles to be included in their territory. Talks will continue tomorrow. The first round of talks, which were called Very Productive, were held on October the 14th. Tel Aviv University announced the launching of what it says is the first and only program of its kind in the world, the study and research of the scriptures of Ethiopian Jewry, the Catchers of Orit, Referring to the Ethiopian Bible will be for graduate students only at first. Biblical scholar Professor Dalit Rom-Shiloni, who is leading the program, explained that Ethiopian Jews who immigrated to Israel brought with them their own version of the Bible written in the language of the Gaz, an ancient Semitic language known only to cases used in the Holy Land. The program hopes to preserve these cultural treasures, which the professor said are today in danger of extinction. And that's the JBS News Update for Wednesday, October the 28th, 2020. I'm Teisha Bader. Stay healthy, stay well.